Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name's Jade, and this is The Interview. And today on the show, my very special guest is Daniel G. Harmann, and we're going to talk about the art of his music, my friend. So are you ready to oge? Well, we're going to oge by kicking off with a track called Only Through a Glass Darkly. Let's oge. Well, hello there. Welcome to the show. My name is Jade, and you know what time it is for. It's the end of the week. Yay! And it's the interview which I look forward to the most on this channel because I get to hang out not only with the amazing community that are here on the live stream, you get to watch on the replay as well. So welcome to you if you watch on the replay and everyone in the chat. But I get to talk to another artist, somebody who's desperately trying to make sense of the world and the music industry and all of this stuff in a time when music is needed most, yes, and this person is somebody I've wanted to have on the show for, I'm telling you, long time, many years, and now we can do it, so we're doing it today. Not only is he an incredibly unique and diverse artist, but incredibly compassionate human being, a good friend, and yeah, I'm sure you're going to hear the diversity and strength of his music today, and you know, I'm pumped. What can I say? He's finally here. I can see him giggling in the background. So let's just get on with it. I've unmuted him already because I'm that excited. Let's do it. Daniel G. Harmann, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I want to see my little emoji fly by.
Come on, folks. Get the emoji flying. We've got a Dan emoji in the chat. So get them flying. We want to fill the whole screen with them right now. If you can do it for me, I'll love you a long time. You know what I'm saying? You guys can do it. We'll say hello to everybody in the chat.
I'll take the pizza emoji. I'll take the pizza emoji.
Pizza. There's a bit of everything. Yeah, the pizza emoji's Gary Hubs. There we go. We got some coming in now. Look at that. There we go. Good on you, Thomas. Thomas never lets us down. How are you, Dan?
Thank you, Thomas. I'm doing great here in the very peaceful United States. Nothing much going on over here.
Nothing to see there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a beautiful, calm river.
Oh yeah. It's no, it's good. It's Thursday here. It's not Friday yet. I'm a little jealous.
Yeah. Well, it's a big day for you tomorrow because it's the release of your brand new album, which we're going to get to at some point. I already have it because I live in the future.
That's right.
And let me tell you, the world's still here. All right. I know.
Touch wood on that one.
Yeah. Thomas says it's really boring here in the US. Absolutely. I open YouTube every day and there's nothing to see.
Nothing going on here.
I'm so desperate for American news every day.
Yeah. Just nothing. Just repeats.
It totally is. Well, it kind of is a bit of a loop every day, but we'll talk about that. And hello to everybody. You know the deal. I'll give you a shout out in about 20 minutes time or stuff. We let everybody get in, grab a comfy cushy or a bean bag or whatever it is you're sitting on, grab your bevy and all that stuff because we got some great music and we got some interesting stuff to talk about. And of course, I'm going to hit you with the question. I hit everybody who comes on the show. Daniel G. Harmann, what does music mean to you?
Oh boy. Probably everything. I've been doing it for professionally, putting out records for 24 years now. And every time I think I should probably stop, I come up with some other idea, or it's just a thing that I'm not allowed to stop. The universe won't allow me, much to, I'm sure, the chagrin of many people's ears. But yeah, it's never really been about money for me. It's just about creativity and an emotional release. So yeah, it truly means everything. It gives me life and keeps me moving every day.
Has there been a moment in your life where you've sat down and gone, you know what? I don't think I could get through this without music. Can you find something specific?
Without my own music, like creating my own music, or without like
either,
just listening to music?
Either. If you've got two, I'll take them.
All right. Yeah, I think so. There's certainly been time, like I broke my leg about 3 years ago, as you know, and I was not able to really play guitar because I was in bed for a month. And so I kind of shifted into making music with just a MIDI keyboard on my computer. And I tinkered with keyboards a little bit, but that really forced me into a new world, which has opened up a lot of interesting doors for me. But I know that if I hadn't had the ability to do that at that time, you know, not that I wouldn't have gotten through it, but it would have been a lot more difficult. Yeah, that's one where I knew it was like saving me in that moment. And then just every day, you know, from going on walks to, you know, driving to working out, it's truly a thing that is not my own music all the time, obviously, but it's with me at all times. And then I stop listening to music and then I have a thing in my head that I want to get out, you know, or you get it. It's just a thing that you can't really ever turn off.
Do you have I've talked about this here on the channel. One song I remember in particular, and I hated it when it came out, was the Metallica Black album. I hated it so much because I thought they sold out. But at the time, my girlfriend left me, and for some reason, Nothing Else Matters became the song that I played every day for 2 weeks and cried my eyes out. And now when I hear it, I just go, oh, that memory. Yeah, why did I cry over that bitch?
Well, you know, I can't tell you that. Your therapist might be able to. But, no, I think that we all have those kind of moments. And right now I'm in a phase of this, you know, a certain band that I'm obsessed with that I have to listen to kind of every day. And then, you know, it's also seasonal. Like there's certain bands that I listen to, like I listen to a lot of like Interpol in the fall. For some reason they're like a fall band to me.
Yeah, right.
And then lots of like Britpop or whatever is kind of summery and bringing on the new season type of thing. So
Are you the type of
um,
musician who gets influenced by the music you're listening to, and then all of a sudden you start to look at what you're producing? Go, oh, is that something?
yeah, absolutely. I certainly have tried. Well, I guess that's a two-part question. Like for me, I've tried to. I've been obsessed with the record, and I've been like, all right, I'm going to try to write a song like this because I love this style so much. Um, or I will have listened to stuff that I didn't really realize was influencing me, and then I go to write guitar, like just play guitar or play keyboards or fuck around or whatever, and it finds its way in without even thinking about it. So yeah, it's a sneaky motherfucker.
It's,
Just like you.
I'm a sneaky motherfucker. I like to sneak. What can I say? Did you notice today I'm wearing a particular shirt? I do love a good callback.
That's what the last place we hung out before I walked you to the bus.
That is right.
Yeah.
We hung out at a bar called Naked for Satan, and you bought me this T-shirt, and I was like, "Holy shit, that's wow! I wonder what I have to do for that."
I bought my wife one too because it's such an original name and such a great bar. That was my first time in Australia, and I got to see you twice on that trip, which was such a treat.
Yeah, it was. I'm so thankful we got to hang out a second time too, because the first time we hung out with these other bozos.
It's a couple of bozos.
Yeah, but and on that subject too,
kidding.
something you did on that day, the second time we hung out, which I still think is just it warms my heart. I remember we went out, we drank, and we when we left, you were still flyering. Now, for those of you who don't know what flyering is or postering, whatever you want to call it, here's a person who's got like a 15 plus albums, right? Super talented, and music out, distribution services everywhere. You can get his music, and still walking down the street will stop and put up a little
Stickers.
flyer. Man, that.
Yeah, you got it. Always, the grind never stops, yo.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have a stack of stickers with me at all times, whether I'm on like a walk or driving around, or whenever I go to another city or another country, I take them with me and I plaster those fuckers everywhere. Because, even though there's not like a QR code or anything, it's just, I think for me, it's kind of like ambiance, like with sound. I like being part of the landscape of a city or a town. I'm sure my neighbors in Seattle are like, who the fuck is this guy putting shit all over like our light poles and stuff? But I could give a shit, Like I grew up in punk rock, and that's what we did,
yeah,
Like,
same.
Put that shit on cars all over, whatever.
That's why I found it so endearing. I mean, you look back and, we do this a lot on this show with guests. We have you reminisce over vinyl and tape and all this stuff. But that is a lost art. And I see people all the time going, I'm really not getting any traction. It's like, are you putting stickers anywhere, or are you doing any of that shit? Nobody does it anymore. It's a lost art.
Yeah, I think so too. And I also, like I have you can do different services, but I use like Hyperfollow, where I have like a landing page with all of my shit. So I just went to Chrome and made a QR code and printed that into stickers also. And so whenever I'm at a bar or at a restaurant, and if the server's like nice, I always just include one of those in my, when I sign the tab. Or if I meet someone on a plane, I'm like, how can I hear your music or whatever? I always just give them one of these, and it's a sticker too, which, everyone fucking loves stickers. So.
Yeah, look, I went full out, got a QR code on my arm.
I do love that one.
I think that's going to be my new merch too. I've nearly got it finished. It's such a huge QR code, and it says above, you want to.
Oh, that's so good.
That's
so good.
I saw a video the other night.
Scan me.
Yeah, I saw a video the other night of a high brick wall, and behind it was a pole, and it had a poster with a QR code. And this stupid woman stops because people are like that. They'll just stop and just aim their camera at it. And she aims her camera, puts it up in the air, but there was somebody hiding behind the wall and they snatched her phone and ran away.
Oh my God.
People are
Yeah.
stupid.
People do not pay attention.
No. So, Dan, tell us about the music that was played in your family household as a child. Do you remember what your parents played? Did it annoy you? Who were the artists? Did it piss you off? And do you still listen to any of it now?
Yes to all of those things, actually. You know, I grew up in a pretty straight-laced religious household.
Okay.
I never really was, but my parents certainly were. But there was secular music around. The Beatles in particular, and an artist who I don't know if anyone really knows him outside of the States. His name's Marty Robbins. He was like a crooner, but then he did this country western record called Gunslinger Ballads, which just fucking blew my mind. And I still love that record. A lot of like old, I guess I wouldn't say outlaw country, but you know, Jim Croce comes to mind, a country artist who I still love. I think is a great songwriter. But that's truly where like everyone says this. Like every white person is like, well, the Beatles, obviously, you know. But I've really, if I hadn't had I still have my dad's Beatles vinyl, you know, like, that's where my love for them started and really hasn't ever stopped.
It's pretty hard to. We've got one friend in our community here, Russ, who says he hates the Beatles. It's a running joke, but he does like them. Like, that's the thing. Like it's pretty hard not to like them. I mean, and I watched the new Spinal Tap movie last night, and Paul McCartney was in it. My Lord, it was so good, and he played with them. He played a song with them, man. It's so.
And you know he was just as fucking stoked.
Oh, absolutely. You can see it on his face. You can see it. But he actually played a part too. He was pretty funny. You know, I have to admit, he was funny.
Did he play himself?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? Right?
Elton John as well was in it too and played with them as well. So, but awesome. It was a little weird, that bit.
No more spoilers.
No. They're in the credits. They're in the credits. So, you know. But if you haven't seen it, folks, I'm telling you, go and see the new Spinal Tap. It was one of the funniest films I've seen in a long, long time. Very, very funny. So when it comes to writing music, do you draw on any of these influences? Have you found with any of the music you've released that you could find a specific song or anything that your parents played that has influenced it, and you look back, or not
to my like original influence or like my parents' vinyl stuff, because I just think I knew that I wasn't that type of artist pretty early on. When I started putting out records, I was really heavily influenced by like, well, a lot of singer-songwriters from Seattle, but also American alternative singer-songwriters like Red House Painters, Mark Kozlik, Damien Jurado, Pedro the Lion. Because that's who I had been listening to heavily for like 5 years prior to even putting anything down on tape. And that's where the whole, I think their influences kind of creep in, comes into play. Not that I can write music at that level at all, but that was the thing that I was really, that was kind of my North Star at that time. Because that's where you start, right? The stuff that you love, and then you start to flex the muscle a little bit and try to think of like, well, can I venture down this path a little bit, or you're sometimes forced to, you know, because of choices of people that you end up making music with or whatever.
True.
Which is also really healthy, I think.
Yeah, I fought it for a long time as a kid. I was a metalhead, and you know everything. Yeah, when you're around certain types of people, like metalheads, especially back then, I think were like it's either metal or nothing. And I used to think all the time, dude, you're so limiting yourself. Like there's so much out there that could add to your metal, and it still doesn't have to sound like Madonna.
And those metalheads probably with the like bands that you love, like Metallica, would probably be like, yeah, I fucking love the Beatles, like, or like it's Cyndi Lauper or whatever. You know, they're all influenced by different things. So I think that's pretty narrow-minded to be like, no, we're only listening to this and that's all I want to make. Because you really, if you have that mindset, you're really missing out on a rich tapestry of other things.
And an audience too, because
Exactly. Yeah.
it's interesting. What do you take on the term selling out?
It doesn't exist anymore as an artist. I think that especially now, since artists are making such little money through streaming, there you have to look at other sources of money, whether it's licensing or to a commercial or to a movie or playing gigs on a cruise ship. Like, I think if people are telling you you're selling out, they can just fuck right off because they don't know what it's like to, be an artist who is trying to actually not only make beautiful things, but also pay the bills.
True. I once had I was in a recording studio. I was like 16 years old. It was like my second demo I'd ever recorded. And the engineer said, listen, if anybody ever tells you you're sold out, as soon as you sell a sticker, you're a sellout.
Mm-hmm.
And that's business, right? What,
That's it.
do you not want to sell anything? Like, it's
You
weird.
either take it seriously or you don't.
Yeah, it's
really
weird
what it
how
is.
people used to, I guess they still do now. People hold it against you, be like, oh, what, you're making money? Like, what it's like, what, are you pissed off? Are you jealous? Is that,
I think that probably comes from insecurity,
yeah.
like, because they're stuck in doing the thing that they hate.
But they should be putting up more flyers.
Yeah, exactly. Stickers all over Melbourne.
Yeah, absolutely.
That have already been ripped off and painted over. Fuck it.
Look, and where you put them too in Fitzroy, that is a common thing. Everything's done over within a week.
Yeah.
That is the way it is. Do you remember, Dan, the first album that you purchased with your own pocket money and the first album that was given to you as a gift?
Oh boy, are we talking actual vinyl?
Oh
or
no,
CD?
it can be anything. Anything, whatever it is.
The first CD I ever bought, well, I remember buying like 3 at the same time, and they were Fugazi, In on the Kill Taker, Rage Against the Machine's first record, and U2, Jade Tree, the Joshua Tree. Sorry.
Good album.
And which are all 3 still my favorite records. Some of my favorite records. My first probably gift was Michael Jackson Thriller on vinyl. I believe my grandmother gave it to me.
Yeah.
Which is really weird. But still, that album's pretty okay, I think, right? People like that.
Man, that's still that is
that album slaps forever.
Whatever, take all the bullshit around Michael Jackson. You can't deny it's a album that it's a marker on the calendar, like Sgt. Pepper's.
You like open it up and it's him with that big fucking tiger.
Oh, man.
And you're like, here we go.
The first time I saw the Thriller video clip, because that was produced by John Landis, who did American Werewolf in London. What's that other comedy? Not Amazon Women on the Moon. I can't remember what it's called, but it's really vile and disgusting and funny. Kentucky Fried Movie, that's what it was. And the first time I saw that video clip, I was like, holy shit, man, we're in another dimension now. This is a movie.
Taking it from just like the little box to really turning it into something cinematic.
Yeah. And that scene where he goes,
next level,
go away, and his eyes are all lit up. Oh man, that was a moment for me. What about a live gig? I love this one because you're in a country which has a lot more live gigs than what we get here. Do you remember the first live gig you went to?
I do, and it's going to be really embarrassing.
Sexy.
MC Hammer and Vanilla Ice.
Oh, dude, I saw Vanilla Ice as well too.
Yeah, I grew up in a very, very small town, and so in Arizona, and so we had to go 4 hours to get to the nearest big city, which was either Phoenix or Tucson or Albuquerque. And I remember one of my friend's mom had chartered like a bus for his friends' kids, or his friends, all of his friends, sorry. And it was to go to Tucson to see MC Hammer and Vanilla Ice. And it was a Coliseum kind of show. It was huge. But it was fucking awesome. And it was very, theatrical.
Yeah.
He had like a million backup dancers, all with the big pants, so no matter where you're at in the fucking Coliseum, you can see it all. It was really amazing. And then I kind of got into punk rock and moved out of that town and started going to like real shows
Real shit.
versus concerts. There's definitely a difference. But yeah, I'll own it. I don't have any shame about that.
No.
I love that shit back then, whatever.
Yeah. Man, I saw Katy Perry. I can't believe I
Fuck yeah.
admitted that on camera. But I was paid to go and review it. And boy, oh boy, did I give that a scathing review.
I was going to say, how did that end up?
Oh, man. Half the show was just inflatable lipsticks on stage and giant inflatable things. And the noise from the children screaming in the audience was like, like,
God.
I was like,
That's
play
how
more
the Beatles
music.
felt.
Yeah, play more music. Even though I hate the music as well, it's better than the screaming. Get me out of here.
God.
But hey, you get a free ticket, you're gonna go. I'm gonna, I always look at.
Sounds like you sold out.
Hey, 100%, always, always. Take the bag, as they say these days.
Right.
Those kids,
Right.
those crazy.
Get your bag and go. Yeah.
All right, let's play another song. And I'm just choosing randomly. This is called Infinite in All Directions. Do you want to give us a little rundown of this before we slap it?
Sure. So one of my best friends, his name's Will Hatton, lives in the UK. He is an artist by the name of Hush Child as well. And during the pandemic, we decided to do a couple songs, and then we ended up started doing like a song a year, and this one came out last year. It really started as a field recording of me. I set my phone down and played the piano, just like really shitty as usual. But my wife was like making fucking dinner and the dogs were walking around, and I sent him this just like thing of 2 parts that he then turned into a whole world, which is probably one of my favorite songs I've ever collaborated on. It's a true testament to how you can imagine how one thing will be and then it turning into something completely different.
Isn't it a beautiful thing about music?
It is.
Just so
It
good.
is.
Let's play it. You ready, guys?
All right.
In the chat, you get to go. Let's Oge, baby.
You ready, chatters?
I'm going to give that. Applause.
Thank you.
Listen,
That's one of those songs where I'm like, I don't even remember what I did on this. Like I sent it over and it was just like, okay, then it turns into something totally different, and I think that's wonderful.
thing about your music and why I love it is that I find it really hard to find good stuff to go to sleep to. And this, I know you could take that, somebody would take that the wrong way, but no, I think it's really important to, especially somebody who can't sleep without some form of noise going on. That's me, right? And I can either put on YouTube like I used to and have some podcasts, but now everything that I watch is sadly overrun by the orange fuckwit. So I've gone back to music, and dude, your music is so fucking relaxing to go to sleep to. I swear, I have better dreams.
Thank you. Thank you.
Um,
It's funny. Yeah, sorry, I picked something up. I used to sing a lot more, and like I said, play guitar. But then I had the injury, and since then I still sing. Like I'm doing a Christmas song with a friend. We're recording it here next week, and I'll sing on stuff. And especially if my friends want to collaborate on stuff, I'll sing on it. But it's not a thing where I used to spend a lot of time behind the guitar, and then vocal melodies would come out because of that. And I think since I started playing more like keyboards and finding my way around synthesizers a little bit, I've been less inspired to sing, although I really still want to do it like on people's records. And, I'm not shutting that muscle off, but it's just not really where I'm at. But if you go back to like all my records before, honestly, 2020, it was all like either kind of like singer-songwritery or post rock with vocals kind of stuff. So I don't know.
I'm going to bring this up now because there's an album that you released, and these aren't your songs, right? But it is so fucking dear to me, right? And you know where I'm going with this. So I think everybody here knows Counting Crows album, August and Everything After, is to me the pinnacle of art. And I always get pissed off and go, fuck, man, why did people drop off this band? And there's a whole lot of us who continue to follow everything they do. Their last album they released is just a banger again. There's such great musicians, Counting Crows. But you dropped this album, here it is. So it is a remake pretty much of the entire album of August and Everything After by Counting Crows. And it's your take, and it's just fucking amazing. Folks.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
You really have to go and grab this. And all of Dan's other music, of course. But this came out in 2023. I remember you sending it to me, and I was just like, what the fuck, man? I listened to this thing so much. In that year, I actually listened to it more than the original. So that's saying something.
Thank you. That means so much. Like, yeah, I'm the same as you. That 1993, I got into that record, but then in 94, I graduated high school and moved away, and from the town I grew up in. I remember driving to Phoenix from where I grew up, and all I did was listening to that record on repeat. And so it's been just in my DNA for 30 years. And then I just somehow, I don't know if I was listening to whatever, I was like, oh shit, it's almost 30 years old. And then I was like, maybe I should try to record these songs. And then maybe just one. No. And then it just turned into this whole idea of doing the whole record. And I was like, I gotta fucking do it before Ryan Adams does, because that guy dropping like covers of every album right now. And so I did it. I'm really proud of it. I tracked it all myself, and then went and did overdubs and mixed it with a friend in his studio. But yeah, thank you so much. That's a thing. It was a really tough project, but it was really, I think, worthwhile, because I'm really happy with how it all turned out. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. I know I've got every song of that album. I think I've done a couple of live streams where I've sung that whole album all the way through, and I think the second album as well too. But like you said there, you're going to do one song, but here's the thing about Counting Crows. It's a story that never ends. Like each album, the characters come back in, Anna comes back in there. These people become a cast with Counting Crows, and if you really follow their music and their lyrics, oh my God, it's hard to explain. I love a fucking story.
Well, and they do what I've tried to do, especially on my new record, is they've created a world
Yeah.
for you to exist in. And like you said, characters come and go and may not show up for a while and then come back. I think that's beautiful. I think not only from an artistic perspective, but also, frankly, from a fucking financial perspective too, because they know if they hook people with the story, they're going to keep coming back to hear more and more about it, just like Harry Potter.
Yeah. Member berries sell.
Exactly.
I'm doing it right now. I'm putting on the shirt. Member berries are things, folks. And speaking of folks here, we got to do shout outs and call everybody out here. So you know the drill, guys. If you haven't said anything for a while in the chat, type something, anything, and I can give you a shout out. Costa's in the house. Thomas Christ, my amazing moderator with the mostest, is banging links like there's no tomorrow. Thanks, Thomas, as always. We've got Tremor Bear, Justine Kasprick, Frank Terzo, what's happening, Frankie? We've got Ed B. Metal, Robbie Stingle. I saw Leela pop in earlier. I saw Russ as well. Forrester the Wolf, g'day to you. Who else do we have? Gary Hubbs was here, had to go back to work. Pete Johns was in the house. I hope he's still listening. Pete Johns, that guy. Peter Johns. Who else do I see as I scroll up and down? Sean Chandler, he's got a brand new song dropping this week on Saturday. So make sure you go over there and get ready for it because it's rad. I got to master it. It's sick. Jenny Jolivet, hello to you. Brad Examples in the house. Who else we got? I'll scroll back down the bottom. There's Daniel in the chat.
That's why I'm looking down.
Multitasking, well done. Yeah. I can't do that. I've got most people. I think I've got most here. If I've missed you, I'll give you a call out and I'll keep monitoring as we go. Okay, so one of my favorite questions anyway. School. I love school. Did you have a school system that you went to that had music and lessons? Were you in a school band? And of course, the most important thing, did you learn the recorder?
Let's start at the end there. I was given a recorder, or I bought it or whatever, and I was terrible at it. And I tried to play in band when I was, in 8th grade. And I think I transitioned from recorder to trumpet for about 1 minute, but it made my head feel weird because of how you have to blow into the thing. So I was like, well, fuck this music shit. And I was like, also never going to learn to read music. So I was in choir all throughout high school, which was cool, but also really hard because I couldn't read music. I didn't learn it early enough, and I still haven't learned it.
Who has?
Right. Not that it matters anymore. No, that's not true. It does. It does for some people.
It does to those who have learned it.
And who need it for whatever.
Yep.
I was thinking about this new record of mine, actually, because I'm like, man, what if I decide to play this live? It would really be helpful if I knew how to read music, because I could just print the fucking charts and then go play it. But now I have to do it old school and remember stuff, which as every day I get older, that's not easy. So I did choir all throughout high school, and then started playing guitar right after high school. Kind of late, I guess, in the game. I was 17 when I started, and then played guitar was kind of my primary instrument for, I guess, the last 30 years, and then been really focused on keyboards and that world for a while now. So, and I still love guitar, obviously, still play guitar, but it's I don't know. I never felt like a few years ago, I was like, I'm not getting any better. And so I want to try to do something different. And I kind of had plateaued. And I was like, I also wanted a different creative outlet, because I found myself playing the same things over and over again. And I wanted to kind of mix things up. And then, life handed me a broken leg. And so I was forced to kind of mix things up. But yeah, kind of got off topic there. But no, yeah, I didn't go to music school or anything like that. I just was self-taught everything.
I love that. And my music teacher put a bin over my head. So my singing teacher, she said, "Your trouble."
You were the first bucket head?
Yeah, I was. A fax head, that was me. I was That was me. No, she was like, you're a really good singer, but you're a troublemaker in class, and I'm putting a bin over your head. And yeah, we became friends after that, so that was
I love
okay.
it.
Um, I love that you embrace the, so many people are forced to play the recorder. Um, I don't think there's been too many people on the show who are still playing it. Amazingly enough,
Well, you don't hear a whole lot of recorder on records these
no.
days. I'm sure someone will probably release something at some point because it all gets put out now. But it's just a horrible sounding instrument. So
It really is, isn't it?
like
It's,
there's really no use for it.
ouch. There's somebody out there going,
I know. Fuck you, Harman.
that's the end.
Yeah.
They're tying a
Like,
rope right
The
now.
Yanni of recorder is like, I'm gonna fucking kill this guy.
How fucking good is Yanni, by the way?
Probably pretty good. I don't know if I've ever listened to him, but I assume he's good.
He has a lot of fans on stage when his hair blows. Anyway, I'm getting off subject again. So you
Oh, you mean actual fans?
yeah. Like, if you watch videos of him playing, his hair is constantly blowing like he's in a tornado or something. It's amazing. I couldn't focus and play music with smoke machines are bad enough, Where's it going to go? Oh, the first band name. I'll help because I'll give up your first band name because some people are embarrassed. Mine was at random. Really?
That's good.
You
Still
reckon?
stands, I think.
You think?
Oh yeah.
I hated that name
Really? I think it's good.
for a metal
I
band.
mean, it's better than being like, all right, what do you think? Foo Fighters? All right, well, we're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, right.
My first band name was Kendrick, actually, which before the actual Kendrick,
Right.
became,
Yes.
well, he was probably a person then, but yeah, it was a town on a street or a street in a town that I used to live in, and I was like, that's a really cool name, and so then we were a three-piece called Kendrick,
That's beautiful. See, that's
which
a
I
story.
still think is a cool name.
Yeah, it is. That's a story. And, there's, again, not enough stories. We need more stories, I think, in music, especially in modern pop music. So you go through school, you're playing in bands. You're playing in bands in school and outside of school? I'm talking
Nothing
high
in
school.
school.
Nothing in school?
No, I didn't play.
17,
Just
yeah.
sang in
So,
choir. Yeah,
right,
yeah.
yep.
So then I moved to Phoenix and I started playing guitar and bass and just like with friends, and then started Kendrick.
Yep.
And then I was there for 5 years, more of just like a fan of music. I never thought I could do this really. And then I moved to Seattle and really became immersed in, for lack of a better term, like the music scene here. I was going to shows every night and seeing bands and artists that I loved, and just started playing guitar and kind of like weirdly writing letters to. I had a friend who had passed away suddenly right after I moved to Seattle, and so I kind of was just like dealing with the grief that way, and those songs became my first record. And at that point, I was like, well, maybe I should try to take this a little bit more seriously. And my friend Greg, who recorded the record, who actually mixed my last record, he put it out on his label and it got some radio play around here, and which was really nice. And then I just never stopped. Yeah,
I can
that was
imagine
it.
being in Seattle. Was it an overload of? I remember when the Seattle scene really popped off, and I was going that Sub Pop was a huge thing, and Mudhoney. Like I got into Mudhoney way before Nirvana, and then it explodes. I'm assuming you wouldn't have a night free. Like when I lived in Minneapolis, I was amazed. The 2 years I lived in Minneapolis, it would be like minus whatever degrees. You would like walk out the door and icicles are in your eyeballs in 2 seconds on a Tuesday night. And there's a fucking metal gig up the road with like 150 people. I'm like, what the fuck? So was it that what it was like when you first moved in?
Yeah, and I moved here because I was obsessed with the movie Singles, which
great movie.
is a big grunge movie. But I moved here in '99, so grunge was kind of dead, but indie rock was on the upswing, and so it was bands like Death Cab and Pedro the Lion were starting to play like small clubs, and then there were a million bands that wanted to be those bands, and so it was the same thing. It was a huge sea, and I was just a little fish in it. And so I it's great being an artist in a environment like that because you have access to people and venues and stuff, but it's also really fucking hard because let's say you do get a show at a venue, there's 30 other shows that night. So how do
Yeah.
you convince your friends or, new fans or potential new fans to, now it's how to get them off the couch. But like
Yeah.
back then, there was so much shit going on every single night that you just become a small fish in a big pond. So
Are they doing the same thing there as what they're doing here? There's a lot of venues here now that are offering, like, they're nice venues. They've been done up and they look nice on the outside, and you go in, the stage looks nice gear, but they're they're only paying you if you bring a certain amount of people. Like, what?
yeah, I mean, I think the whole like pay to play thing has kind of been for a long time. It was just kind of the shitty bars did it. But now I'm noticing other bars, when you go to buy your ticket online, you have to say, "Who are you here to see?"
Wow, that sucks.
Which I think is just kind of gross because I'm sure they're just using that data to either like figure out, oh, I'm going to bring them back next time, or this band didn't sell, enough tickets, or because nobody's getting paid anyway. Like
Yeah.
I've been paid and I'm a beerionaire.
A billionaire.
Like the amount of beer I've been paid with. You know how it is. I mean, they pay you in past blue ribbon versus actual money.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel bad for bands who don't drink. They're fucked, aren't
Yeah.
they?
Yeah. I remember being on tour and we always brought an extra guitar case into the venue with us because we would just fill it with the beer that was in the back in the green room. Because you're like, well, I can't afford to buy my own beer, so might as well.
Yeah, see, they're scabby here. They pay you in glasses, so you have to. They won't give you cans or bottles, so you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, scabby.
There used to be green rooms full of like Pabst Blue Ribbon or hams or whatever, and
Oh,
you'd just be like, cool, this is coming home with me.
Those were the days. Those were the days, man. We had a
good
green
old days.
room. Oh my lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a gig with this band called Mantissa. They were called Killing Time. They came from Australia, went to the US, recorded this killer album, changed their name to Mantissa, and came back home. And somehow we got on a tour with them, and they turned out to be absolute fuckwits. So we took their slab, they call it a slab here of cans, right? It's 24 cans. Yeah. And we shook their cans up, and then we left.
Oh, shit.
We never got a gig with them again. I wonder why.
I like it.
Keep
it punk.
Rock and roll, yep, absolutely.
That's right.
Where are we? We're at the 50-minute mark. I'm going to play another track. Let's do that. I'm going to random. Let's do random. We got Small Eruptions with you and Arby. Give us the rundown.
Well, Arby is a Canadian artist who I kind of fell in love with because I saw videos and their music being posted on Instagram. And I generally am fearless when it comes to wanting to collaborate with artists, or work with people. I'll just reach out. And I reached out to them, and we slotted in a time to release a record and then kind of work backward from there. And I think this was one where they kind of put the groundwork down for the song, and then they sent it over to me, and I added my own thing to it and then sent it back, and they mixed it, and there we are. But yeah, kind of ambient, lo-fi ambient Canadian artists that I really, really love, and I was honored to get to work with them.
Awesome.
Hopefully get to again.
Let's do it. That's Oj, baby. Hey, you just made it back.
I just took that opportunity to use the restroom.
Yeah.
And I think my dog might be joining us here in a minute.
Ah, yes, we got doggo action. You know, this is the thing
That's
with
how you get the
YouTube.
likes.
It's it. It's all about the doggos and the puss. It's what it's all about. How it
That's
has
right.
been.
The other one, the cat might come in too. Who knows?
Hey, you see, people think that I just play the songs to actually showcase the artist, but it's really just so you can go take a piss break.
Yeah, and go get your pets.
Exactly. That's what it's all about. Man, that was a beautiful track. Beautiful track. Not long enough.
Thank you, my friend.
That
Thank you.
that could have played for 10 minutes and I'd be very happy.
And you could have fallen right to sleep on it.
Look, that's so funny. People, on that, people
I love it.
people get offended over it. Some people do. And like it's I don't know, man. If somebody said that to me, unfortunately most of my music's really hard to cope with when you're awake. So yeah,
when you're awake,
it's not very good for putting yourself to sleep. But that's this. It is important. Like sleep's really important. I've done shows here on the channel about sleep and how important it is as an artist. And if you're going to sleep to negative stuff and horrible stuff, you're gonna wake up shit.
oh yeah,
We got to focus on the stuff we put in to ourselves because it ends up coming out the other way. And that kind of
I've stopped sleeping with my phone. Like I have my phone in the bathroom, and I sleep basically with just like a rain machine to fall asleep to, because I can't have, if I wake up to like pee or whatever, and I would look at my fucking phone, and then I'd be up, and I'm an old man now. Like I can't handle that shit. Like I gotta stay asleep. Yeah.
I used to put on podcasts, and they keep moving to the next podcast afterwards, and then you wake up to something with Ben Shapiro on it. That's not the thing you want to hear
No.
first thing in the morning. No.
Or ever.
No, or ever. Well, I do like to follow these people. Know your enemies, as they say. But it is horrible. Pete John says, "Don't forget to show some thumb love." Pete's
I do love Pete.
Pete's in the chat sticking his thumb. He's giving everybody thumb love. That's interesting.
That's Pete's kink.
It is. He was here recently. He turned up at my house, and
Just randomly or uninvited.
I kind of knew he was coming. I had to keep it a secret. Pete's a very secretive man, and he rolled up here because he's got stalkers. But he rolled up and he performed live in this studio. It was so much fun, and we had a few too many bevies, as you do. So now life changes and things.
Yeah.
You've worked in kind of, say, digital media for a fair amount of time. And, and seen a lot of stuff. What do you think about a few things? So the future of digital music and where we're going with it, and are we heading the right place? Or do you think it's going to change at some point, the way music's distributed?
I think that we're going to probably stay in the realm of streaming for a while now, and artists just need to adapt. Like, I don't want to turn into some like jerk here, but I think that I see a lot of people complaining in particular about Spotify, and they don't pay people any money, and and the founder, does evil shit. But like, I think you're doing an artist a disservice to tell them don't use Spotify or take your music off Spotify, because the conversation around streaming, especially Spotify, needs to be reshaped. And I think people need to look at it less as an income stream and more as free advertising, because that's what it is. The analogy I give is when you and I started putting out music, we would sell a CD at a show, maybe for $10, and you'd never have any data on that person again. You'd never see them again. You didn't have their email address. You didn't know where they were from. And now, you have unlimited possibility when it comes to people hearing your music, and you can collect a tremendous amount of data, which can help you build tours and help you build an actual career, versus continuing to just play shows to empty, halls. So I think it's up to the artist to take control of what they figure out what they want to do, and then leverage the tools that are available in their favor, you know. Spotify isn't going to be the top dog forever. So if you're spending a ton of money on Spotify advertising or, ads or whatever, think about spending that money in other places. But, I spent the last 10 years working in digital music, so I'm a little, I don't want to say biased, but I can see some stuff that trends over the years. And I just think that it's very it's a hot button kind of, what's the word, clickbaity thing to talk shit about Spotify right now.
Sure.
And it really just angers me when I see big artists doing it, because small artists are going to listen to that, and it's really one of the only ways for people to get their music heard right now. So it's very selfish, I think, and people probably just need to be cautious when they talk about that way. Um, Sorry.
Yeah,
Was there a follow? Your
I've
second
talked
part of
about
that
it.
question?
On
Yeah.
that, I've talked about Spotify. I've done couple of rants on it, and I've had some people say, "Well, you haven't removed your music from Spotify," and it's like, well, same as what you said, right? I look at Spotify. I don't even have Spotify. I don't pay for it. I don't. I don't. I listen on Apple Music. I'm an Apple person,
Yep.
so I pay for a monthly fee, and I get iCloud storage. I get Apple TV, and I get Apple Music. Right, so that's
Yep.
all cool. So it doesn't bother me. But again, it's the muggles. And the muggles out there, they Spotify is everything to them. I'm talking about just listeners, and that's the go-to. That's the trend that's been put out there. So you're not going to get money, as you said. You're spot on. You're
Yeah.
not going to get money, but getting that reach, even if it's 3 listens
It's
a month,
huge.
it's still 3 people. And
Overnight, you're in 172 countries or whatever, which is huge potential. And yeah, sure, they're a big or evil corporation now. So what are you going to go listen to music on Apple Music? Well, they're also a big evil
yeah,
corporation that does bad shit. So, it's really like choose your battles and figure out, as an artist, what's the best decision for you.
the other question involved in this is AI music.
Hmm.
Now, this is one thing for me I'm so vocal about, and I won't change. It's
Hmm.
disgusting, but in saying that, I can see it being handy as a tool,
Yep.
and I've used it as a tool. But
Yep.
still, the thing I'm going to release after using it is still all me. Right? It's
Hmm.
just it gave me an idea. What's your take on this AI thing? I think that's the thing with Spotify because they're really pushing these AI artists.
Oh, they sure are. But let's take those guys out of the
Sure,
conversation.
sure, it's everywhere.
I'm on the same page as you, as I use AI. I look at it as a tool in the tool belt. And I think that artists that are smart and that are actually really good are only going to get better as a result of it. And the reason I say that is it cuts out the time that it takes to um, learn something, not like learn a whole song, but I'll give an example of, I scored a podcast called Sabotage that came out earlier this year. And it was my first like real scoring gig. And I was like, it was one of those sign up for it or like say you're going to do it and then figure it out later kind of situations. And it was an incredible learning experience. But there were times where, I would submit a song for a certain thing. There's the soundtrack. Yeah. Thank you for putting that up. I, and I would submit a music cue that they had written a description of. And an example would be, I like how this feels. If it would be cool if it had more movement or seemed faster without changing the BPM, right? So I'm like, well, how the fuck am I going to do that? So I go and I honestly asked ChatGPT, like, how do I do this? And they're like, well, maybe add some tremolo or some delay or whatever. So those kinds of things, it allows you to get to um, answers more quickly. And I think that when like AI is killing music is such a dumb blanket statement when,
Yes.
like you said, I think the smart people are going to use it to their advantage. Like I'm not going to put out a whole record that is not me, but it's going to help me get better and advance to and make decisions more quickly. And that's what we're trying to do, right? Like ultimately, that's going to help me be more creative more quickly.
Absolutely. Look, and I just want to say thank you, Not Visible, for the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Hey, and if you want a super chat, super sticker, this isn't a sponsored show. It does help the channel. Chef's kiss if you do. No pressure. The thing is with AI is that for the current song I'm working on, I actually wrote a small piece of music, some bass, some keys, some guitar, put it all together. So it's a little verse, a little pre-chorus, and a chorus. Then uploaded it to Suno, and it actually turned it into a full-length song. And I was like, cool, let's grab the stems, put them into Logic, and now let's take those parts and I'll play them and then remove all those parts. Yeah.
Exactly.
And then you can get like that is just, that's where it shines. And we're expected these days to all have personal PAs. And we're expected to do all the things. No digital marketing, no all of this shit. Something like ChatGPT for like $20 a month to like help me research. Chef's kiss. Love it. It's my problem, the biggest problem, and it's not even the streaming services putting that stuff out. It's the people who are just putting in a prompt, whatever it comes back with, and then releasing that, because now you can have personas on Spotify, on Suno, and just use that same voice over and over again, and they're not real. They just pretend it's them.
And all the ghost artists on Spotify too, where Spotify is filling their like major playlists with, ghost artists that are either fully AI or, people that are just studio musicians that like, there's an autumn fall, it's called like autumn vibes or something. Playlist. It's like jazzy. 100% of that is all fake. And I spotted that early on because I worked in digital music and I know kind of what to look for. And I was like, this is pretty fucked up. Like what they're doing is they're getting people to subscribe to pay for the service because they listen to that playlist and they're like, well, I don't want to be served ads anymore. So they'll go ahead and buy a subscription when there's not one person on that real playlist that is a real artist. So they're making money. They're just printing money at that point. So those are the things you have to be careful of. It's just make good decisions.
And you're right. Like the blanket statements that get thrown around, I'm guilty of it too. But the real issue is it's people. Because people are making this AI shit with a prompt and then putting it out there and pretending to be this. And so you can blame the AI all you want, but it's just a tool that people are fucking abusing. Like everything in fucking life, there's people out there that abuse every fucking system that is out there.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think that in a way, this might be a thing where AI saves us from AI because maybe Tidal or Spotify will get fed up at some point and use AI to filter out the AI artists. I don't know. I have to believe in music, and I have to believe that as a society, the cream will rise to the top, and this might just help that happen quicker.
I agree. I think it's always going to be that way. My honest opinion with AI is it is a bubble and it's going to burst. There is no general intelligence. It's just a chatbot, and they've admitted it. Like OpenAI said, we're afraid that it's a bubble. It's going to burst, and it is. And it's probably going to be the same as the .com crash that we had.
For sure.
It's coming. It's interesting. We were talking about Alien Earth before this. If you haven't seen it, folks, Alien Earth, the Alien series, it's fucking amazing. Not only because the creatures are sick, but there's this really good story going on underneath of the Kid Wonder, whatever he's called, trying to have a conversation with someone more intelligent than him. And I just love that whole story because it feels like that's happening now. We're trying to create this higher intelligence, but really there's a lot of smart people around. You wouldn't know it.
They're already here. They're already here.
They're not in politics, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly.
So that leads us to the world. That's what I have written here. The world.
Oh boy.
I used to ask this question with my guests about 2020 and the pandemic, and I'll go back to it. How was it? What happened for you in the pandemic, and what happened when everything shut down for you?
I was already working from home, and my wife was working from home quickly after that, it started. And so we just ended up spending a lot of time together we have a senior dog who we lost last year. And
Oh, sorry.
so, the last 5 years of his life, we got to spend with him nonstop. So that was a blessing. Um, but a lot of people lost a lot of people.
Yep.
And the concept of the pandemic broke up a lot of families, including my own, because my parents didn't believe COVID was real, and they still don't.
Wow.
So there's going to continue to be a lot of fallout, I think. But for me, it was a time of getting to collaborate with new artists that I hadn't never collaborated with. Um, Drink without consequence because we're like fuck it at that point, like you're in fuck it mode.
Yep.
um and just spend a lot of time with my wife and my animals, and I really ended up, I did miss, I'm a homebody by nature, so it gave me reason to cancel plans, which is like my favorite thing to do. uh so it was tough, and I'm fortunate in that I don't know anyone who got really sick or was hospitalized or God forbid passed away. But for me, it was just a time to get closer with my immediate family, and the family I live with, and spend time with my pets. And because for me, that's, I don't have children. That's the most important thing in my life. So I
It's
know it's very selfish, but it was a time that was um, kind of special to us. So
Yeah, and it is frustrating. Like I lost family member during that, and it is really frustrating when you try. I try not to get in these online shit with people. I just scroll past, because I like my
yeah,
mental health being as fucked
yeah,
up as it is already. um,
same.
but yeah, it's, I just never understood the concept of people going, well, I like the old days, and that's their thing. Let's go back to the old days, make whatever great again. But at the same time, it's like, well, if you go back, you have to know that we've had these things before. We've had the Black Plague. Like,
Mm-hmm.
just because we're in a
Yeah,
digital era these days and can contact each other in an instant doesn't mean a virus is, yeah, it doesn't matter how it came about, it's here. Like,
it's here. We got to deal with it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a very, for me, it was a time when it was like, oh my God, can I breathe now?
Mm-hmm.
Because the world just
It,
doesn't want you to, does it?
no, and then when you were able to get out and actually see friends, it was such a rewarding experience. It was like, oh my God, this is what human connection is. You were kind of forced to be reminded of it, and it was a wonderful thing.
Yeah. It fully still astounds me that people were so angry that they're able to take some time away from the fucking earth. And the animals outside were having a party.
Oh my God, I tell you what, man. We have so many coyotes in our neighborhood now because of they all really started around the pandemic time,
Yeah, right.
because people were getting fucking rabbits and chickens, and the coyotes were like, I got an
Yeah,
idea.
I'm hungry.
Yeah. And I'll see them straight up walking down our street, and we live in the middle of the city. So, um, yeah, nature will always win,
It sure will.
just
Like,
just like in Alien Earth.
absolutely. Like you look at even all these cities they've built in China that they're not even using and stuff, and eventually the plants grow through the concrete. They're going to win.
Yep,
Like you can't
yep,
stop nature as much as
yep,
we think we can, but we're not that
yep.
powerful. Mental health, because you've mentioned a couple of times here breaking your leg. Big thing to get over because you're immobile for a long period of time. How do you get through something like that?
My wife took care
Hey.
of me. I was very, very
did,
grateful
did you have a bell?
her. Uh, Much to her chagrin, I had a bell for about 15 minutes. Then the bell went out the window quickly. Uh, no, I mean, it was a tough time, and it's not like a major life ending injury or anything, but what it did was it made me realize I don't want this shit to happen when I'm 80, and I need to, basically be in better shape so I can bounce back from that. So I've spent a lot of time trying to do that. Um, and yeah, it takes a lot out of you mentally, emotionally. Um, but physical stuff is all manageable. It's the mental stuff that really can take you down if you're not careful. So
And so you've dealt with some of this too, and this is what your
I
new album is focused on.
go ahead. Sorry, were
No,
you gonna
no,
was there? Yeah,
so
so my record that comes out, it's out in Australia now. It
sure
comes
is.
out in 8 hours here in Seattle, Washington. It's called Versailles, and it's an instrumental record that is I started doing ketamine therapy for psychedelic therapy for my depression about 2 years ago. And it really changed my life and cured me, frankly, of my depression and other things. And I listened to a very specific playlist while doing psychedelics, and I quickly realized that I wanted to create music for that experience for other people, and for myself. And so this is my stab at that, really. Um, I'm super proud of it. It took me a year to finish. But yeah, it's different than anything I've ever done. And it's also, this is my first time really talking about mental health as an artist publicly, and talking about, you know, doing the drugs publicly. With this record coming out, that's a big part of the story, but it's a part of who I am, and I'm really proud of where I'm at, and I'm really proud of the record, and I hope people can find some peace with it.
It's a fucking awesome album. Right,
Thank
so
you.
it came out here yesterday for me, and just in time for guess what time? For bedtime last night, and it
Sleepy
it
time.
actually kept me up because I wanted to listen to the whole thing, which was a real pleasure. 45 minutes long. You got 12 songs on here. We're going to close the show with one of the songs today and let you all get a preview before it's out. It's a fucking killer album. And look, here on this channel, we talk a lot about mental health. I've done it since day one. During the pandemic, we had a show here on the channel called Wart. That's where the warts come from. We all rise together. And I talked about isolation, depression. We covered everything during that time. And even so, we would do these shows here live. And then afterwards, we'd open up Clubhouse and invite people in after the show. And some of the most amazing stories of people's mental health journeys and stuff were disclosed there. And it's a real privilege here to, I guess, have people trust me enough to talk about that shit, because it is really important.
Mhm.
And especially as a musician, we talked about this already. You're not getting paid. We got the AI in the corner trying to steal our passion from us. And so, and drugs. I love this because I was a heavy drug user in my life. And funnily enough, you talk about this, right? I want to talk about ketamine because recently I
Mhm.
tried to get on medical marijuana
Mhm.
to help me sleep better and take away some pain and stuff. And at the beginning, it worked okay until it didn't. And then I started getting sick from it. Go
Mm.
figure. Like, I guess I smoked it too much during my life. And I was getting sharp pains all up one side of my
Oh,
body,
wow.
and I got an ear infection, and I was getting this weird. As soon as I stopped the weed, gone. And I
Yeah.
know, like my friend Brad, example, he's tried to do ketamine recently, and it just didn't work for him. Some people it does, some
Mhm.
people it doesn't. How do you go about getting ketamine? How's the dosage? Because the last time I had it was in somebody spiked my ecstasy pill.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
wasn't fun for me.
No, this is all very clinical here in I don't know if it's just the state of Washington, but it there's been a lot of people doing studies for it started, as treatment for PTSD with soldiers in the Iraq War. And then maybe kind of people started studying it for depression. So I actually go to a clinic where I have infusion put in through an IV, which that was my first experience with psychedelics and, visiting altered states. And it really not only, helped with my depression, but it opened up whole literal new worlds for me. Um, so I get it through, a clinic, and I go every month. But I also have done psilocybin, magic mushrooms
Mhm.
and gone on long journeys that way. Um, and this is a new thing for me over the last 2 years. If you had attacked me 5 years ago, I wouldn't know who I was. Like I've smoked weed for a long time, but that's as far as it ever went. And I don't really look at psychedelics like ketamine, psilocybin, LSD. I don't look at them as drugs. I look at them as medicine,
Yeah.
and obviously medicine can be abused, but there's a lot of people out there that need it, and are doing it for good reasons.
Have you tried Tylenol?
You know what? I was going to, but I don't want to get autism. um,
Can you?
I've heard it's yeah. Sorry.
I
the
took
the worm in my brain told me, uh, lay off this stuff.
I had a headache yesterday, and we don't have
Uh,
Tylenol here. Different brand name, of course.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
only a brand name.
yeah,
But yeah, I had a headache yesterday. I looked at him across the room and thought, "Oh man, what if I wake up
yeah.
tomorrow and
They
uh,
got you. They got you.
the
Well,
world?"
you need to stick with Advil and ibuprofen anyway, especially if you're drinking.
Isn't that weird though? Can you imagine Advil? They were sitting there going, "Yeah,
Like
stocks going
our
up, man."
stonks going up.
Unbelievable. And look, I'm all for these medicines like ketamine and psilocybin, all that stuff, because the history of it, people just don't know. Like even ecstasy was used
Yep.
for marriage counseling. And the facts are out there that people who did this with their psychologist ended up sorting their fucking problems.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing worse than these days, going seeing a therapist. And a lot of people, there are some people out there who believe there's going to be this point with a therapist that one day they're going to go there and the therapist is going to go, and here's the answer. We don't need to see
Yeah.
you anymore,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
that's not how it works.
Well, and I spent 30 years on antidepressants, and the only person that got any help from that was the pharmaceutical companies, because they just had someone for life, basically, and that's why these things are, uh, I guess, underground, because there's not a whole lot of money to be made from it, and the government can't really get their hands on it. So, there that's why the war on drugs started.
Yeah, and here, like, I mean, here they've even banned vape juice here. Now you have to go through the
Really?
government. Yeah, it's fully banned. It's been the stupidest thing because they put the cigarette taxes up astronomical. So a packet of cigarettes now costs $64 for a packet of
What?
20 Marlboro Lights. $64.
Are you kidding
No,
me?
no. And at the same time, so they put the tax up, thinking that'll stop people with addiction. Of course it will.
Yeah.
And then they took away vape stores, closed all the vape stores down, and made it you have to go through the government website. And I do it. I get my vape juice. It's all TGA approved because I want my vape juice. I don't want to go back to cigarettes. But
Well, you're also an adult, and you're able to make your own fucking decisions.
I know, right? But what it's done, Dan, is it's created a mafioso style tobacco war, where tobacco stores are getting firebombed for not selling under the counter illegal cigarettes. And vaping has gone up exponentially with children because you can't stop importing this Chinese made shit that they're selling under the counter. It hasn't worked. Banning shit don't work.
Yeah, I agree.
I think
I
we
agree.
we know that. Let's play another track. Let's get into
right.
some more music. I'm picking this time. Let's go with the one Coconut Lime Verbena.
Yeah, that was a song off my record that I did when I broke my leg. Corey Wong plays guitar on this song. He became a friend of mine kind of through work, and I had sent him some song ideas. And I was like, "Do you want to jump on any of it?" And I was just fortunate enough for him to be like, "Sure," and not make me pay for it. So
Wow.
I think it turned out nicely.
So Corey Wong. Now I did a show on Corey Wong when he released a pack for GarageBand and Logic.
Yeah.
And at the time I didn't even know who he was, but now I know who he is. But he's a killer musician. So let's do this. You ready, guys, in the chat and on the replay? Grab your ankles because we're doing it now. Let's Oja. Even Tremor Bear was like, "What the fuck, Corey Wong?"
It's hard to impress Trevor Bear.
It is. He's an awesome musician as well too. His stuff is really, really good. Tremor Bear, we love Tremor Bear around here, as we do everybody here in the chat. Lots of awesome musicians who are here hanging out with us. I haven't said hello to a few of them. Doug Kidder, hello. E. Urban, hello. Saw Denise earlier. I didn't get to say hello to you either, Denise. Good to see you. I hope you're feeling better. Not Visible asked, where's the records? In the description, all of Daniel's stuff is in there. Bandcamp, I can show you that right now. Here is Le Bandcamperoo. It is thetroublestarts.bandcamp.com, and you can look at all this. Look!
I know, it's stupid.
See,
stupid.
Thomas Christ has something like, we always talk about Thomas being like having 20 albums. You just left him for dust.
Well, it's a problem.
It's a problem. No,
This music thing.
it's a good problem to have. It's a very good problem to have, I think, being able to produce. Now, for the ads I did, I love this track here, this Die Empty track.
Thank
This was
you.
one you dropped. I used that for my Instagram reel that I did last night.
Yeah.
It's a fucking nice song.
Thank you. A little synth wavy.
Yeah, look, that's the thing with your music too. It's I don't know how to categorize you, and that makes me happy. Uncategorizable should be a category on Apple Music.
Thank you. I think I just want to be flexible. And I think, I was stuck in a box for so long, and then the pandemic happened and I had the opportunity to work with artists of a bunch of different genres. And I just found my way in, and I realized that no matter what I'm doing, it's still going to sound like me. And so I just went for it. And yeah, right now I'm doing this thing, but next year, who knows? I have ideas, but I'm really into what I'm doing right now, and that's, I think, where I should be.
I love that. I love it so much. Now, we talked about briefly sabotage. So scoring is a thing that you're very interested in. I'm super interested in scoring at the moment. I've been practicing.
But
no. It's here.
It's that button. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a bit slow today with the button. There was one you said earlier, and I was nearly going to hit it. I was like, I don't think so. I was a bit slow. But so scoring, and so this podcast as well too that you on, which I've listened to heaps. Tell us all about how do you prepare for scoring? Like, what is it different than releasing normal music? And
oh yeah,
tell us the mindset to get into that.
It took a minute because I went in guns blazing, thinking, they're gonna fucking love everything I do. And it wasn't exactly like that at all. I love the gals that are the hosts and put Sabotage together, and I got put in touch with them through a mutual friend, and they took a chance on me because they knew my wife has a podcast, and I did the score for that, but that was kind of along the same time as this, so there wasn't a whole lot of I'd licensed some stuff, but I'd never really written specifically for a thing, and I just kind of jumped straight in, and they started sending me these episodes audio only with music cues, and I knew the style of music that they wanted, but as musicians, we have unlimited fucking choices now.
Yeah.
For sounds and instruments to use, and it can be overwhelming. So you kind of have to start throwing shit at a wall and see what sticks. And I love doing it, but it is very different than being a creative musician, at least for me. It's a punch the clock kind of job situation, because you can't get your feelings hurt, which again, all of my work collaborating with artists, I think helped with that, because, people will be like, let's try again, or that's not for me, or whatever. And luckily, Alessandra and Sam were very kind and never cruel when it came to feedback. But an example is, there's 9 episodes in this season. Each episode had 15 different music cues, which was a different piece of music. And each one of those had about 5 revisions. So,
wow.
It was just, there was never anything that I sent and that was immediately approved. The theme song, I think, probably had 10 or 15 different iterations before they settled on what they liked, and it's their show. And I'm new to this world, so I have to trust what they're saying, because their ears are the ones that matter here. But they were very, if there was something I truly believed in, I would fight for it, and they would listen. But yeah, it's a hard thing as a person who yes, I put out a bunch of shit, but I'm also a really lazy musician, and I would generally not write or record anything until inspiration hit, right?
Sure.
That shit goes out the window, because you have to fucking plot your day out and be like, well, I have to work on this, and there's a deadline for this. So there's no such thing as inspiration anymore. You have to you like actually make something work and do the work. And it may not be a thing that you like, but you know, sonically, it may not have been a choice that you'd made, but you learn to love it. And I learned so much from that. And I'm so grateful. And we're about to start season 2. I think I start tracking in January. I'm excited. You know, it's exactly what I need for these cold, really dark winters and short days here in Seattle. So, um, but it's not a fun kind of, you know, necessarily creative musician way to be a musician in the traditional sense. You really have to switch your mindset into it's a job, and I'm not the boss at this job.
Yeah, and it's really I would assume it's really hard to get into the head of the person who's creating. I mean, they have a vision just like you do, making your own music, and each moment, you know, we like. For example, people who watch the Star Wars stuff, the new Star Wars stuff. There's been Star Wars stuff that I've watched and thought, this is awesome. And then you see so many people go, this sucks so bad. And it's like, really, it doesn't suck that bad. So taking that into account, everybody's so different. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've got to convey, music conveys emotion in a completely different way. You know, I'm struggling with learning this thing, and I'm trying to watch videos on it. But again, you can't watch too many videos because then you don't do anything.
Yeah, I try not to like overthink a lot of stuff.
Sure.
I just generally will just jump in and figure it out as I go. Maybe that's why things take me longer. I don't know. But if I try to get bogged down in by the real Justine, thanks for hanging out. If I'll get in my own way if I try to overlearn something before I even, you know, lay a note down, you know. But like I said, that was where AI kind of came in and was a great tool for me, where if I got stuck, like it could help me figure something out or even spark some inspiration, you know. I
Yeah.
mean, people have been sampling shit for a long time. What's the difference there between, you know, using an AI prompt as an inspiration? You know, like you said, we're not gonna fucking use every stem and or even any stem and release it as a song. I'm using certain things as a spark, and especially during Sabotage, that kind of thing was really helpful, and I'm grateful that I exist in this time, and that all kind of lined up for me. So.
Yeah. Ideas, man, fucking, we bounce ideas off each other. And the thing is, too, with that, using it as a spark, because I'm in a group called, like, it's a Spark music group where they put a prompt each week. A human person puts a prompt for the month.
What?
And everybody makes, so it's the same kind of thing, you know, as you said, samples have been used forever. And you can actually go into something like Suno and just say, create a sample that does this. You can do all that shit, but the temptation, I think, for people to feel like they're a musician, and it's like, yeah, you really want to feel like a musician? Wow.
Well, let me show you what it's really like.
Yeah. Good luck.
How do you feel about Pabst Blue Ribbon?
Here's a slab for you right now.
Exactly.
So what is an average recording process for your music? Do you have a template? And run us through that if you can.
Yeah, well, I'll just speak to the new record because that's the most recent thing that I've worked on.
Yep.
I created a template in Logic and really I spent a lot of time thinking about this record before I started working on it. And what I mean by that is like figuring out what sounds I wanted to use. This new record relies a lot on field recordings. So I do a lot of field recordings anyway, and I have a huge folder of them that I've recorded either with my Tascam or with my phone in a pinch, and I always dump them down. So I knew that each track I wanted to have a field recording in it because I wanted them to feel alive, you know, and adding um, you know, a recording of nature or, you know, conversations or whatever for me is a nice way of giving something, making it more organic. So I knew field recording was going to be one of my basic tracks. I knew piano was going to be another one, so it's a matter of figuring out a piano sound. And I didn't want to track my piano because that would have been just kind of a mess. And then I needed to dial in a bass sound and a synth sound. And once I had those four elements, I built the template and I kind of hit the ground running. And so I had some ideas that I had written on the piano that I brought in, and then I replicated them. But I think doing Sabotage, wrapping Sabotage prior to doing this record really taught me a lesson, which is really stupid to say, is that there are too many choices out there. And I didn't want to be working on this record for 10 years. Like, it was important. I needed to like ride the spark of it. So what's the fastest way to do that? It was to narrow down my choices. So that's what I did. I chose 4 general sounds. And there's other things that come and go, obviously. And sometimes one of those sounds won't be on it, but I knew that those were the core of the record. And once I had that, the writing and recording of it was a lot easier.
It's a really smart way to work. My good friend Russ8889 works in a very similar way, where, because on this show I do a lot of app demos, obviously. And, there's 1,000,001 synths. Every week there's new synths. And they're all full of amazing patches. But the way Russ will get an app is like he'll hear a couple of patches, and then that is the idea of the song. That's the structure. And then go and use an app that you haven't used for a while. Go and find something you haven't used and pick the instruments that are going to make this thing happen. It's a very smart way to work. And because when you're doing it on the fly, you can go down so many fucking paths and then get so lost and,
And then 8 hours later, you don't have shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's the same thing with listening on cans. You can sit here for 6 hours in your cans and then go, this is sounding amazing. But trust me, that next day when you put on those cans, it's going to be like...
Or you put it through your monitors or run it through the car. It's very different situation.
Yeah, because your ears get tired just like you do, And again, not enough people talk about that in this industry.
And another thing too, I think, is I tend to suffer from demoitis, and that's why I like to not mix my own shit. Like I'll give the mixer a rough mix of my idea, but I also know my weaknesses, and my main weakness is low end frequency. Like, I love bass and I love sub, but when it comes to mixing it, no fucking way, So I get it into someone else's ears who I trust more. And, collaboration is a beautiful thing. And if you find people that you trust, you always want to be working with someone that's fucking better than you.
Yes.
Because like, they will help to elevate you. And it's okay to recognize that you have weakness or gaps in knowledge, because someone else will happily fill that,
There's always something to learn. Like, I get up every day, and if I haven't at least learned one thing, then the day has been a waste.
Even if it's like, I shouldn't have got up today.
Exactly. Absolutely. Like, it's the same thing with mental health too. I see some people get really fucking psycho upset about saying to someone, hey, you got out of bed today. Well done. It's like, fucking... Shut the fuck up, man. Give people their fucking awards where you can get them. There's not a lot that is positive that gets thrown at you these days. We used to have the news where even at the end it was like, and here's a dog on a skateboard. And you go,
that's what I need.
At least there's a dog. Now you don't even get that anymore. They've ripped that from us. At least give me one thing I can be happy about, Oh, the milk's not off.
You don't know what someone's day is like or their night is like. And so maybe getting out of bed was the fucking hard part.
True. You say to walk in people's shoes, and it's bloody impossible. I don't know if you've ever tried to walk in a pair of 8-inch heels, but
I have not yet.
There's still time.
There is still time.
I'm hoping. I was at band rehearsal last week, and they're saying, "Hey, so what kind of big heels do you have?" I'm like, "Listen." Listen.
Do you really want to open that door?
we have so many costumes, so much I'm already wearing on top of me. I don't need a pair of 5-inch stilettos as well. What are you doing to me? Relax. So everybody's going to want to know, behind you, there's the stuff. Look at those fucking pedals. What is
Oh yeah.
going on there? Do you have a problem?
Yeah, I sound like my wife.
No.
I do have a problem. I actually have buy a lot less pedals. I just think that we live in this wonderful time as musicians where each one of these is an instrument.
Yeah.
You know, we're making sounds now that have never been made before, and I just think that is so cool. Like, I want to have a studio where I can um, make any type of music and any type of sound, apart from tracking drums. You know, and I think that pedals are a great gateway into that. Like I first started with like keyboards, and I realized there's a lot of really awesome patches that already come with things, but like how can we fucking send this shit into outer space?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm always trying to do, you know.
It's funny
You
with
know,
pedals
I
because,
want an 8 hour long reverb tail. How do I do it?
see, that's it. You know, when I grew up with pedals, it was the metal zone. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
In the first band I had, we had a metal zone and the orange distortion. And we'd put a bit of wood over the top of them. So when you click, both of them came on together. These days, fuck, if you did that, people would just be like, that sound is fucking awful. What is going on?
Use this.
Yeah.
Use this one.
But this is the thing. Some of the pedals that are out now, I see that are worth like fucking $800 and shit. These huge reverb tails, and oh man, they're so beautiful. I want them all. They're just, oh.
But that's like as expensive as a pack of cigarettes. Just a little bit more.
Speaking, a carton, 20 packs, Dan, 20 packs,
No,
six
$1,000.
$640 for 200 cigarettes.
The
Oh,
terrorists
man.
have won.
It's this was before tariffs, though. Can you imagine when they
I meant
kick
terrorists.
in? Oh,
Terrorists have won. The tariffs have won.
yeah.
Oh my
Well,
God.
well, they haven't. Who knows what's going on with them? It's every day's a new fucking story, isn't it? What about the
Yeah.
guitars? Do you have a favorite guitar that you go to every single fucking time?
You know, for the longest time, especially when I was playing live, my favorite guitar was my Epiphone Sheridan. I bought it new in like 1997. I still play it. Um, but again, I can't say that I have one that I go to every time. I think that I just will be working on a thing, and not that I know how things sound. I'm like, I can't tell you because the pickups in this, like, I'm not that kind of guy. Like, I
Me
drive a
too.
car, but I don't know how it works, right?
Yeah.
I just instinctively will go, that might be cool on this. And then if it is, I keep it. If it's not, I move on to something else. I just want, like I said, I want to have as many options as I can and do whatever you know, I want to do in that moment.
Yeah, look, I agree 100%. Like when I built this studio here, the idea was exactly the same. To be able to, at any time, any idea, be able to just go, oh, I think I've got one of those. Oh, I need a controller, a foot controller that's Bluetooth. And there's some of the stuff in here I haven't even used once, but I know there's going to be a time where I'm going to be like, there's that thing I bought like 2 years ago, you know, same thing.
But the problem will be like, do I have a power supply for it? Or do I have a cable
yes.
for it?
Mate, do I have cables? It's
I know.
funny, during the pandemic, that was the main thing I bought was HDMI cables, guitar cables. I have so many cables, I'm probably never going to use them all, but it's for that very reason. You know, for me, this is getting very self-centered here. For me,
No.
it's not the gear, it's having the being able to have the money at one point to have all the things that you don't think about replacing, like guitar cables, USB cables, and just having an endless supply of them. That is such an important thing because there's nothing worse. It can ruin your creative flow if you lose a cable.
Well, and I'll tell you, I look at all of that stuff as kind of like admin stuff
Yep.
that you have to have. And my friend Will, who he played Infinite in All Directions, that song we did together, he teaches like Ableton courses online, and he has a YouTube channel about it. And he's like way better at programming and engineering than I am. But we talk a lot about like creative flow and how to avoid, you know, blocks and stuff. And he gave me the best fucking tip, and I tell everyone, it is have admin days and have creative days.
Yep.
And never will they ever meet. Like I'll spend an admin day cleaning the studio, updating software, updating plugins, learning shit on YouTube or whatever. Then I'll spend my creative days not doing those things. Like I know my shit's gonna work. It's all set up, and I don't need to update. There's nothing little thing I need to check off. So you can always stay in the creative zone. And that was such valuable advice and has helped me, stay focused.
I
Because distraction kills me.
I can't agree anymore. Maybe I can go up to 100%, 200%,
Cheese?
500%, to 1,000%, 2,000%.
11?
11 cheese and 11. No, and yesterday, so just speaking on that, like people say to me, how do you have time to do all YouTube, do all this shit? You should get some rest. Yesterday was my rest day. Yesterday I slept most of the afternoon and then got up and spent all day admin, all night admin. And today's going to be after this, after a little bit of a break, chill out. It's going to be recording drums. You have to separate them because you will lose. And I think you got to be available too to say, today's not working creatively. And walk away, and because you can push it, and
be kind to yourself.
Absolutely, be fucking kind to yourself. We're going to play another track. Speaking of this, I'm going to be kind to you and play this track. Is this Vivian? What's the story?
Yeah.
What's the story? Morning Glory.
Well, so I get song titles from dumb places. Like I think I saw that word in a book and I was like, that's beautiful, and I wrote it down. And so then I'll just kind of like field recordings and samples. I'll have the song first, and then oftentimes I'll go and see if they sonically match. And that title just matched up. So this was a song I did with my friend Louis, who lives in Argentina. I came up with the bass of it, the core of it. I sent it to him. He played amazing guitar and keyboard, sent it back to me, and I chopped it up and did some rearranging. And then it was a thing. So.
All right, folks, grab your ankles. Let's rock and roll. Let's do it. Let's ooge, baby.
Tell me, do you think there is life on other planets?
Well, I'm not quite sure, but I suppose there would be.
You seem definitely.
Definitely.
How do you see this life, and where?
Well, I'd seen a flying saucer.
You've seen one?
Yes, definitely. At Lane Cove,
When was this?
1953.
You don't think this is a figment of your imagination?
Several other people with me saw it.
Speaking of reverb tails that go on way too long,
This is not long enough, in my opinion.
yeah, ever.
I'm always a fan of a big down tune at the end.
Yeah.
Wicked stuff. Man, your music's incredible. I just love it. And we're getting close to the end here. We're going to play a track from the brand new album to close out the show today, folks. And I just want to go over something else here. So
Bring out your magic mushrooms.
Hey, close. I was lucky, as we've mentioned, I was lucky enough to actually meet you. You came out here to Australia. It was fucking awesome. I can't say how excited I was. The other, I got to meet Mike as well. Let's bring out some photos here. So this is.
Oh, you'd never met Mike IRL?
I had never met Mike IRL, and got to meet him. Pete, I'd met heaps of times. I'd been at his house and stuff, but
Too many times, probably.
yeah. And we've drunk together a few times. It was in Adelaide that I got my dreadlocks done when I was staying there in Adelaide with Pete. But yeah, we all got to hang out and meet Dan. I got some other photos here. There we are. Of course, Mike's given the bird over here. All class.
What he does.
Mike and Joe. But it was so cool to hang out. I remember on the day of us. Oops, wrong one. On the day of us hanging out, I was so pumped to get to meet you finally, because I'm not going to go into details, but this dude here has helped me along with my journey here, just on a personal level. I can't thank you enough. I just want to publicly say I can't thank you enough for having faith in this little dickhead here on the internet. You have a very special place in my heart, and yeah, I just need to say that. Your music's
and
awesome.
You as well. Thank you.
And,
Thank you so much.
We had a blast out having something to eat. And, a funny story, folks. While he was here, I scored 2 tickets to fucking Mr. Bungle. And I contacted him and said, I've got a ticket for you for Mr. Bungle. And you couldn't make it. And I was like, so bummed, man. But I took somebody else who had never seen them before, and he had the best time. Let me tell you that. He was blown away.
Amazing.
So, and funnily enough, with that I was queued up for that gig, and I'm standing there in the queue to get in, and there's this guy in front of me with I think it's his girlfriend, and he's holding up these photos on his phone, and I'm looking over his shoulder going, is that the band I've just joined? And it turned out that was the guy who is awesome. the like puppet master of my new band, Phantom Panda Power Wizard Master Smasher. And then it was a week later, I messaged him and said, were you at Mr. Bungle with this girl and you were showing her photos on your phone? He's like, yeah. I go, I was right behind you, dude, and I didn't know it was you. And
what?
Because I'd never met. And we're all under costumes, so I didn't know who he was.
That's true. Even at band practice, we're still just wearing the hats.
We are. We're all in costumes at band rehearsal. It's very weird. But so it was really cool to hang out, of course, with Pete and Mike as well, because they're amazing influences on me and friends of mine. So just a bit self-indulgent there. So we've got the album release. Here it is. I've got it up on the screen right now. It's already dropped here in Australia. It's due out, I'm guessing midnight for you?
Well, midnight East Coast. It'll actually come out at 9 p.m. our time. That's why I stay up late on release nights to get all my links updated and late, not past 9 p.m. on nights before release to update all my links and everything like that. So yeah, it's coming soon. 4 hours.
So I'm assuming you still get excited over album releases?
Until, 2 days later, and then I'm severely depressed. And no, I'm excited. I'm really proud of this one. And regardless of how well it does or whatever, it's a really important record for me. And there's also a video component to it. I had a friend who runs a creative agency do a immersive video for each song, and there's also a full walkthrough of the whole album as a full video, which I think is just really beautiful. So I'm excited about it. So
I was lucky. I got to see the clip.
Yeah, because I'm an idiot.
You
and
accidentally
I set the release time a day early.
I was like, awesome, I've got a clip to play. And then I checked it this morning. I'm like, it's gone. Where's it gone?
That's some standard Daniel Harmon shit right there.
I'm telling you, everybody here, I've done it. I'm sure every musician in this chat has done it. Has done a pre-release, dropped the video too soon. Folks, you also links in the description, so go to Bandcamp. This is the best way always to support our wonderful artists who join us here on the channel, Bandcamp, because you can directly send them money, yeah? So if you're interested, go and check out all of Dan's stuff. Send him some money, right? Do the right thing, you know, because the times are tough out there for musicians, and do all those things. The new album's absolutely fucking awesome, so I guarantee you guys go and get it as soon as it drops. You will be a much happier person. Yeah?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
The Pete says, just don't do
Thanks
it.
for being so nice in the chat, everyone.
Best chat ever.
I see Pete Johns just said something. I love you, man.
Don't do it when you're under embargo, though. Yeah, that's a tough one. I hate embargoes.
No guarantees.
I'm under 2 of them at the moment. God, they suck. Because I love to talk, you know. All right, well, let's get to the last question we ask everybody on this bloody silly show. If somebody, Dan, was considering becoming creative, no matter what it was, when would you suggest the best time for them to start?
Well, I think everyone is creative. I think it's just a matter of taking the time to figure out what is your creative bit. And it may find you when you're 5 years old. It may find you when you're 50 years old. So I don't think there's a best time to start as long as you start.
That's possibly one of the best answers we've had on here, because I only ask it just to try and trick people into saying now. that's
well, I mean, that's also part of it now. Yeah. Now or then.
It's definitely the best answer we've had. Now, look at this, guys. This is what I woke up to today. I clicked on this and was like, oh, cool, that video clip's right here. Not anymore. It's private. It's taken away from me.
It'll be back in the morning.
So we're going to go with this one. We're going to play Hall of Mirrors off the brand new album. Thank you, everybody who's been here in the chat live. If you're watching on the replay, thank you for watching on the replay and supporting this channel. We had a super chat from Not Visible, so thank you very much for that. You rock. Again, we've got a few minutes. If you want to donate, you can. No pressure. No pressure at all. So.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you so much for being such a good friend and just such a sweet person and such a supporter. So, and you know, clearly the people that follow your channel love you, and so do I. So thank you.
And I love them too. And thank you so much. So please hang on the line at the end of this so I can say goodbye and we can talk all the dirty stuff afterwards. Brad says this was awesome. Pete John says rock on.
I love you, Pete.
Doug Kidd is just laughing his ass off over there. I don't know what's going on over there. It's probably into the magic mushrooms.
LMA. Yeah, he's dipping in. Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me, actually. All right, let's do this song. This is Hall of Mirrors. Let me cue it up and make sure we're all good. We're all good. Rock and roll. Quickly, I do need to do this. There's heaps of cool stuff coming up on the channel, folks. Tomorrow, we were doing the Swam Vari flute, but it still hasn't been released. Apple's holding it up on the App Store. So we're doing something else. Tomorrow, we're taking a look at the viral synth T2X from Audio Kit Pro. You're not going to want to miss the show. This is a sick app. And all the shows are actually up for this week on the channel. Coming up, there's shitloads of demos that are all listed. So we've got Analogy Saw, we've got Forv, we've got Soul Play, heaps of cool apps. And next week's interview is with Andrew Fly, who is the creator of Cinematic Alpha. He scores music for film and stuff, and he makes these amazing sample packs. And the following week, you know what's happening, folks. You know what's happening. Venus Theory will be joining us. Unbelievable. I can't believe it's going to be happening. So,
with the mustache.
Yes, it's all happening. So Venus Series coming on the show. We've got lots of great interviews. And I think the week after that, in the studio, live, maybe live or pre-recorded, Phantom Panda Power Wizard Master Smasher are going to be here with all their costumes and me interviewing them. So that's going to be weird, interviewing my own band.
In costume, I hope.
Everything in costume. I've even heard there's going to be a robot penis.
Just one?
That crawls across the table. Fucking hell.
Oh, boy.
Good God. You're not going to want to miss the shit that's coming up on this stupid channel. All right, let's do this. This is Hall of Mirrors from our wonderful guest today, Daniel G. Harmann. Do the things that make you happy, folks. Mistakes make you better, and let's all rise together. Let's do it. See you later. Boom.